Hey guys, thanks for joining us tonight. We just got finished smoking the Drew Estate Liga Privada Único Serie Velvet Rat. This is episode 11. We've been memorializing episodes. Our first was the Year of the Rat. Number 11 is Velvet Rat. So I like that we're doing that as a theme. We had a fun time. We're in our Christmas attire. This is coming out hopefully right around Christmas time. So happy holidays to all of you out there. Just like always, we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about Christmas movies. We talked about motorcycle accidents. We talked about how our football teams are doing this season. So stick around, light up a stick, enjoy. We are Cedar Culture.
Kick back and relax, it's time to shoot the shit. Hanging out with the broskies, Gary and Eric. Let the ash go long and the convo stay pure. That's Cedar Culture. That's Cedar Culture. That's Cedar Culture.
Let's bundle these leaves and burn them and suck on them.
Dude, I'm so excited to smoke this together. So we did the Year of the Rat for episode one. And now, right, this is like the Unico series. I don't know if Unico has any relation to like Uno, like one, or if it's more like short for unicorn because they're like want to be rare.
But I like that we're going to use it for one. We're going to use it for one. So
Unico, episode Uno, episode 10 plus Uno is 11. And then, and we're going to keep it going, right? So when we get to episode 21, we'll do like a whatever we feel, another, Unico stick. And honestly, with the number of Unico sticks that we have, we could do we can probably keep that going to episode 101.
Got it off nice and clean. Look at that.
Nice.
No picking.
Took this whole band off.
Dude, my band's loose. That's good. That means no sticking to the...
I'm really upset that I just took this band off. I don't know why in my head I had to take it off to take the foil off. But now I'm smoking like a naked stick.
Dude, that's a great scent coming off.
Dude, it does smell so good. So, we'll talk we're working on a rating scale together that we're really proud of and we feel really good about, but we're not sharing it with the world yet because we want to test it a little bit.
Yeah, I want to make sure it's legit. But Eric did a ton of research and a ton of back work on it, and it's
we'll be beating it up though.
Legit.
We've been working to try to break it, because I want to break it before it goes to the public and somebody breaks it in public.
I like that though. I like that you're like, well, smoke this one next because I smoked it and I want to see what you get. And it's almost like fun. Remember how we talked about the culture of collecting cigars and doing cigars? Now we're getting to a point where, what's your score on this cigar? Is it kind of what I got?
But what I like about our rating scale when we do, put it out into the wild is that it's not meant to grade the cigar. It's meant to grade your perception of the cigar because that's what matters.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
That's how we did it because I wanted it to be that way because it is so subjective, right? It just is by nature. Does it sound extra echoey in here today to you? I don't know, whatever.
It sounds a little bit.
We have new audio.
Packing blankets.
We really do, but we have new audio equipment starting next episode, so we'll make it through. At least I remember to turn the heater off this time.
Great feel on the stick. Beautiful color, beautiful construction, as we would expect for a Drew Estate Único series. Beautiful chocolate brown wrapper.
Would you go with? You always go with a V cut, right?
Yeah, especially we were. I guess we were recording where we were talking about sizes and how different things are.
You're such a queen.
This is a Connecticut broadleaf. What'd you get? What kind of cut you go with?
I went with flat, but sometimes you get a little too, not deep enough, and then you got to do another cut because it's not drawn right, and then sometimes you go too far and your cap fucks up. I think I got a good cut on that one.
What a good metaphor for life that is. Sometimes you
Size
cut
queen?
Off too much. Sometimes you cut off too much. Sometimes you don't cut enough. I think I see a big fat stem staring me right in the face, but that's okay.
That's kind of funny. Luck would have it.
We were talking about sizes on this thing. So this is a 6.5 by 46, which again is not a
Lonsdale,
traditional size. It is a Lonsdale, but it's not a true Lonsdale. It would be a skinny Churchill or a fat Lonsdale.
Oh, really? I didn't. I fucking hate that they do that.
Right. That's what kind of I brought up. So do you remember the Legend Black? The Legend Black is a true Lonsdale, and that's skinnier than this. So that's why I made this big a fat Lonsdale.
You're right.
And Churchill is thicker, so it would be a skinny Churchill or a fat Lonsdale. But in every site I saw, they're calling it a Lonsdale.
Yeah.
It's not a Lonsdale.
It's interesting. It's interesting to know. The other thing we learned today was very specifically, like on Half Wheel, they were saying do not age these sticks, which is crazy because we've got a few of them and we don't want to smoke them because we cherish them, we love them, and they're pricey. But there was a dude on Half Wheel that rated this motherfucker a 94.
Right.
And then like it was 3 years later or something like that, rated it an 84. And he said in there very clearly, like, you do not age Ligas. And then you said, I texted that to you today, and you said you already knew that.
Not that I didn't already know it. I literally heard it before too, because one of a guy I grew up with who is in the cigar world, and you've kind of built a relationship texting and talking with him as well.
Sexting.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to out you guys, but yeah. But, he's into kind of, we talk about cigars being collections, so he's kind of into the higher ends, the T52s, the 9s, those good, Liga Serie tobaccos that Drew Estate put out. But now he's trying to get all the flying pigs, and it's hard because if you're going to make a collection, you kind of have to age them because you're not going to get all in one shot, But he was appreciative for the knowledge because he's like, dude, I was gonna move things out of my regular humidor.
Imagine if you have like $500 in the really good sticks, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna hold off, and you find out, you come back to him later, and you've got like $500 of dog poop.
Well, it's true because I was really excited to get those Cuban Maduros, and everyone everybody told me, age them. And I had a couple guys kind of message me on the side because they didn't want to do it in the thread, and they were like, dude, smoke them when you get them. Like, make sure they're climate tempered, so maybe you don't want to smoke them out of the package that they got shipped to you in. But let them acclimate for 72 hours in your humidor, and then, dude, crack one out and enjoy one. That's what it's for. It's what you bought it for.
That's a good point too, like the whole "that's what it's for" kind of thing. But I don't know, it is fun.
It is. It's hard.
I don't know because you don't want to. I don't know. Just like well, you have a Babe Ruth rookie card or whatever, Mickey Mantle rookie card. You put that in plastic. Like you don't take it to your friend's house and be like, "Look what I got."
You put it in your spokes and listen to the motorcycle sounds.
I mean, a lot of kids did.
They did, and that's why, because they weren't meant to be collectors. Dude,
that's why they're actually worth money. I know.
Look at that.
I'm already
that.
Dude,
it's just thick.
Whoa.
Dude, that was like spider webs.
That was bizarre. I know. Normally, we can go a whole episode. We can go a whole episode smoking and not turn on the exhaust in here. Normally, we might actually have to force a break today just to be able to get like that loud exhaust fan on and pull some of the smoke out.
I heard in some of the research I did just for some of the stick, getting some background knowledge on it. Someone said it could be close to a 2-hour smoke. I know we smoke quite quick. But dude, like I'm looking at polls and it's not moving. Like I could see it being a long.
I'm having trouble getting it lit, and I know it's my fault, not the stick's fault. I don't know what's going on.
What do you take? Like, what's your first initial polls? Like, what do you?
Just shitty lit cigar.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, I
started
charting. I started, toasting it before.
If you go back, you'll see my first 2 hits. I kind of look at you because like I kind of understand that velvet. Like it is smooth. Like I hope you're getting that as it opens.
Well, I am. The problem, not problem.
Tobacco. It's smooth. It's chocolatey brown. Like not that you could taste brown.
Brown. Do you ever watch Impractical Jokers?
Yeah.
They had an episode where they had to be waiters or something, and they had to introduce these really weird specials. And if the table actually got one of your specials that you had on the menu, you won. Like one of them was I forget exactly, but it was something crazy like. Live charred baby goat or something like that, and somebody was like, and he goes into it or something. I'm butchering it, but he's like, yeah, it's great. We get it while it's young, so it's fresh, right? And then we walk it in there, and we distract them so they don't know, and then we char it just enough. I think somebody got that one.
Did they just give the title and then they had to make up the description of what it is
to try to sell it?
That's awesome.
Because you have to try to get somebody to sell it. But anyway, you said brown isn't a thing or whatever. They actually one of the things they had to sell was a plate of warm and brown.
That show is great.
It was great. I mean, the pandemic squashed it. They went to Zoom stuff, and I haven't watched a single Zoom one.
Nah, me neither. But what I like about Impractical Jokers? Like, I have 3 kids. Like, it's family friendly. Like, we could watch it. And
dude, I was at the barber shop one time, and in the barber shop, it's not uncommon, unfortunately, for like a woman to be in there with her son, and for son to get the haircut, and everybody's waiting. It's packed. This is pre-pandemic, so it's like packed in there on a Sunday. And kind of loudly, like so everybody in the whole barbershop could hear her, she stood up with her kid and said, "Come on, honey, let's go outside. This TV's not appropriate." And like took her to it's on TBS or whatever, right? Is it on TBS or whatever? Or it's on True TV. Yes, it's inappropriate. Walk her kid outside.
Channel that like that. What would you do?
Yeah, not to mention, like the kids going to school and hearing way worse. even at like 8.
I obviously wasn't in that situation, but as a parent, I know for a fact that kid hears worse at home because there have been times where like I've heard the teacher like we're like, do you know what they hear in our house? Like honestly, relax. Like, and I want them.
Well, wait, where a teacher apologized to you for
maybe like another kid had their mic on and the mom was yelling like, put that down, and like, oh,
if that happens,
you guys had to hear screaming. Like,
I was gonna say if that happens, does the teacher have to like call every parent and like? Because I know you said before that like it's I've heard it's getting crazy in the education system with how much you have to basically not stand up to kids at all because they run the show.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is kind of getting that way. But like they have weird rules, and like I get home from work, and I'm the dude that's like I'm getting down to my boxers, and I'm going to start cooking dinner. So we have a rule like the kids can't shut their cameras off in our district, which I think is so weird. Like so,
your kids' district or your district where
my kids' district where they attend school, they can't shut their cameras off during the day because the teacher has to be there to monitor. Which is like, well, what are you going to do if something happens? Or they need to know who's present in the room.
That's fair.
It is fair, and like what, I work with a high school population, so it's different.
Yeah.
So different rules. These kids are young, but I'm like, guys, you have to keep your computers like turned to a wall, like because like. We also have a house where we're living here and doing laundry and maybe
do you have them all set up like on the kitchen table or something or
they were and then they kind of branched out so they all started at the kitchen table. Then Holden's still there and my kindergartner kind of was like I want to be by the window and my daughter who is an emerging reader and has vision issues and is doing her best to keep up is like I need my own space so she's actually 2 rooms over, and then my wife sits in the kitchen to do her work, so she can kind of.
Dude, get this. All right, so in a text group with some friends down from Maryland, I was telling you about earlier. One of the guys, he has a couple kids, and I don't know him that well. I don't know how old his kids are. He said his kid plays lacrosse. He's my age-ish. I mean, I'm going to guess his kid's about 10 or 11 or something like that. And his kid was bad. I don't know what he did wrong. So the parents took the phone away, and when he was like. Apparently, and they actually kept it. Like a lot of times, you'll see a parent take it away, and like 10 minutes later, they would give it back because they don't want to deal with it. Like apparently, this was over the course of days, and so they had a conversation with their kid and said, "You're getting close to earning your phone back, close." And you know what the kid said? Okay, but when you give it back, I think you should limit my time. I've been really productive in school since you've taken it away.
Good for
Holy shit! Right?
But we were talking about like even before when I just came over, we were talking about ourselves, like. Why is it that our generation feels like we hit adult and now we're done? We're done learning, we're done growing, we're done evolving, we're done challenging ourselves. I really feel like our generation sucks with that. Like that late 30s, early 40s, which is crazy. We're on the cusp of that. But like we were talking about that, like I'm doing keto and all my friends are like, well, how'd you get through Thanksgiving? How'd you do this? How do you plan on doing that? How do you do this? And I was like, I read you that quote. I was like, maybe I've had it my way where I ate whatever I wanted to stick in my fat mouth as much as I wanted for 39 years, maybe practicing restraint isn't a terrible thing right now.
Or when
or balance.
Like when I go on a diet, and some of my friends who are ripped and have been ripped since high school are like, what do you do? Balance. I'm like, yeah, it is.
You think I'm ripped since high school? That's so beautiful, dude. What a Christmas gift.
But you and you had said this that like, well, balance, sure. To some people, balance is within a day. I want to balance today. To some people, balance is I'm going to have 3 shitty months and 3 really good months. And it's still balance.
Well, and we talked about it, too. You have a pool, so it makes complete sense. But it's still balance.
I'm not fucking dieting in the summer. Like, I'm having IPAs in the pool. So I have to be more strict now.
But if you take that scale and make it 12 months, that is balance.
Yeah.
Just like I'm hoping that my first 39 years of terrible eating and health, maybe if I balance that out with 39 years of restraint and decent eating.
Now I found that balance, and I've unfortunately still found that balance through extremes. But what it's done is when I started backsliding, and frankly when I got out of the Marine Corps, dude, I got out of the Marine Corps at like 180. I drove home from California in 2.5 days, two 24-hour trips with an overnight stop in the middle. And, within that first week, I'm furnishing my like little tiny apartment and buy a scale. And I had gained like 10 legit pounds in like a week and have never looked back. Wow. And then went straight through. And I told myself, I was like, when I weighed about 175, like when I was through like most of the Marine Corps for 175, 180. And I just told myself, I'm like, I will never get to 200. That was my thing I told myself. cruised right the fuck past that within
Well, you were
45 days of getting out.
But you were true to yourself. You're not getting to 200. You went way past 200.
Shoot, I did not collect $200.
But that's where I was, man. Like last Christmas, I got on the scale and I was like, this is an insurmountable task. I'm never going to be in shape again. And that's what took the extreme measure.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes an extreme measure. And again, that's okay. Like I know we kind of go in and out of topics. I'm just done with people like telling you what's in your best interest. It's like, how about let me, like, I kind of know myself a little bit. Like now, as a friend, if you were like, hey, Gary, that's unhealthy, or you're doing X, Y, Z, like I would take that into consideration. But for a stranger on Facebook or Instagram, like you know what?
Oh well,
like,
strangers that
like that's
don't have to deal with that.
You getting anything as it evened out for you a little bit?
Absolutely. Definitely reminiscent of the year of the rat.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's been a couple months since we had it, so we talk about this a lot. And with even like bourbons as an example, it's a little bit better because I can have two, three, whatever little tastes of bourbon and compare them. With cigars,
it's
you
so
can't
hard
really
to describe a cigar to
do
a cigar.
that.
In
but
my
you
head,
can't really compare it. I mean, in terms of like now that 2.5 months has passed, like I don't know what that one really tastes like. It reminds me of that, but does it remind you of the Dunbarton, Now Leave the Hell Alone at all? And remember when we had that? Remember I told you it reminded me of Year of the Rat. And I was saying I think it's because I think Saka was involved with Liga, but I wasn't 100% sure. And today I realized he was CEO when this was released.
And it's that blending philosophy. It's the complexity, and that's what I think people like about
some of the brands. Some of the brands that we like, but they do sometimes, just like when IPAs, they are like, well, let's see how hoppy we can make this. And I think, there's some cigar brands out there that are like, well, let's how edgy, how peppery, how spicy can we make this?
Right.
This is complex is a great way, great word.
But not overpowering.
Deep. No, but it finds a lot of flavor through mild complexity, as opposed to some of the other sticks that we also enjoy. But there's other sticks that they approach a lot of through one big punch in the nose.
Right.
And this is like a little massage, massage
it
all
is.
over.
And I mean, but it's pouring smoke like it's an infused stick. Like I mean, it's just got some really cool qualities to it. I don't know.
It does pour.
I don't know.
And the bluish tint.
Yeah, that smoke.
I don't know what age either because we won these.
Right.
I remember from a sampler. I mean, I'm going to assume they're 2020s.
Oh no, these are 20s. But I mean, like how
the tobacco itself. Oh yeah, I don't know.
And while we're on that, we talked about it being. Did we talk about the wrapper being a Connecticut broadleaf, which we both enjoy?
I think we talked about it before the episode, or I don't know.
So it's a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. It's got a Brazilian binder and Honduras and Nicaraguan filler. But man, it's good. Like it's funny. I can't remember what I liked about the Year of the Rat, but I remember as I'm smoking this, it kind of bringing back some memories. And I don't know if I like this better because I'm smoking it today versus thinking about something I smoked a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's really, really good.
We got to try not to forget to write our stuff down in between and test our scale.
Mm-hmm.
I learned another fun fact today.
Okay.
Did you know that more than half of all of the natural lakes in the world are in Canada?
I did not know that.
Me neither. Now we do.
Man. Getting learned with Eric.
I know. It's crazy. I haven't busted out a fact in like 5 episodes. I forgot.
No, you have been. And as I was doing the things, Eric didn't do a fact. No, only last week. Or I'm sorry.
I thought it was the last.
I'm an episode. I'm doing descriptions for an episode.
Oh,
so
okay.
9.
Okay.
9 you didn't.
9 I didn't.
10 you probably didn't because we were.
Yeah. So a couple weeks I haven't done it at least. I keep forgetting the facts. And you know why? Because I started typing the facts on like our little prep sheet. And so it blends in with like the typed characters. And so I don't look at it like I do my handwritten notes. So I actually wrote it this time.
And it's funny because as you and I talked, you enjoy taking handwritten notes. Like that's how your brain works. So isn't that funny that's kind of solidifies that?
It is true. But yeah, wild, man, right? This cigar is like from all over the world. We got Connecticut, Brazilian, Honduras, Nicaragua.
And I think that's where the complexity is. But I really like that you bring up the Saka's involvement because if you probably were to press me for if I had to smoke one brand, I'd probably lean towards Saka or something like that.
With the exception that they don't have a ton.
You're right. Right. But I mean, like, I guess the question would be, what are you smoking now? I'd be like, oh, I'm really enjoying getting into the soccer.
Oh, you are. Oh, for sure.
I mean?
Yeah, you've been saying that for a few weeks now. And part of it is because, you know what? I think there's some personalities that are really popular in the cigar industry that are overly, I don't know, play into whatever, big baller brand kind of stuff.
Right.
And then there's a lot of, obviously, like, great people in the cigar industry too. I think Saka seems like seems like a cool, great guy.
Yeah.
But he also seems like a guy you don't want to fuck with either.
I know, and you've said that before, but he's also the dude I would love to share a smoke with.
Oh,
like, imagine sitting with Sock and hearing some stories.
I bet you has some stories from, like, I mean, especially from, down in, like, Latin America and stuff, and, like,
and just being like, imagine
more
like,
impoverished areas and doing stuff, like, I don't know, or even dude,
his rise to Drew Estate, like, that was and it still is. Drew Estate's a powerhouse, and
but like with Drew Estate, even right when I heard Jonathan Drew speak for the first time, like in a little YouTube video or whatever, I kind of just assumed, I don't know, that maybe he was from South America. He has like an accent on it. It's actually like a New York accent. Right. But like, but then when you hear his story, like, dude, he grabbed like a $20K loan and like went down to South America and was like, let me figure out how to get a cigar out
doing it.
Which is a really
ballsy and awesome.
Ballsy, yeah. I don't think you could do that today. From my understanding, is like even when you go to like a factory in South America, like my understanding is they want to see like that you're like you can import, like you have all your paperwork in order. You have to be legit.
They're not going to waste their
Oh, because
the boom happened.
And like the boom happened
of the late '80s, early '90s.
That boom happened, and then now it's that boutique boom. It's the craft beer kind of boom right now. Yeah,
and to tie it into Drew Estate. Drew Estate started, everyone thinks, like, yes, acid was their baby, but Jonathan Drew started with a traditional tobacco cigar. That was the only Drew Estate available. I don't know what it's called. It was a traditional tobacco stick. It wasn't acid. Like,
it was. I'm trying to remember. I thought acid was. Oh no, acid was the first
like that line,
real like line.
But
then he was like, I want good cigars. Like so, then he went from there. So whatever he had at first. Are you sure acid wasn't the first? I don't know.
That's what I read, so I'm not sure. Yeah. But what I saw today, scrolling through, was
more recent.
Was that, yeah. But going back to like bringing boutique into it, Liga was kind of they had acid and they had that like bad boy on the block, and like you said, he wanted that upscale. So like the Liga is their answer to a boutique cigar. Like Jonathan Drew is just that umbrella. And then
they start acquiring everything, and now they've
anything cool, and it's cool. Like they have just the diversity of the Drew Estate line is unbelievable, from Kentucky Fire Cured tobacco to acids to high-end Liga sticks. I mean, in one brand, like this.
No, it is, but I think it's a different approach, right? Like that's a cool approach, and I respect that. I also respect other brands that just have like 4 cigars and they do them really well.
Well, I wonder, do you think like you've done more in seeing him speak? Like, I wonder if his goal was to create the empire, or was he just like...
He seems like that, but I don't know.
Trying to get a couple cigars on the shelf and see what it is, Like,
it seems like his goal was empire. He seemed like from driven, right? Like I think he was in law school, and he said in the interviews, like, I like to look fly for the girls. So he's in law school, but he also ran a little cigar hut in the World Trade Center. And so he would like, I forget, I'm not super familiar with New York, but like however many blocks, he would have a hand cart of all these cigars he would have to like bring out. And he's like, I'd be sitting on the floor in the middle of the World Trade Center, breaking open boxes and stocking my cart while there's like all these business people coming in and out and stuff.
My dad probably walked past him like a bunch of times.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. So we have our Christmas swag on, because if we do things correctly, this will air right around
on
Christmas.
My birthday, actually. December 22nd.
Yeah. 38th birthday.
Are
we getting? Did we get it?
We got it. We did get it. But what's funny? So before you even came over, I looked at like our release schedule, and I was like, oh, this is going to be released on December 22nd. And then, like, of course, in my head, I was like, oh, it's my birthday. And I was like, oh, of course that's going to come up in the episode. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, do we bring up our age in every fucking episode?
I think we do.
I don't know how. But I had the entire conversation we just had, I actually had with myself early.
So I had to do back math. I think my youngest son was a little disappointed in me. So my youngest has celiac, and he has to get routine blood work. They actually found some things elevated, thyroid stuff. So they wanted to just do blood work on that. So no issues. Come home from work, got to take him to get blood work, and everything's self check-in kiosks, no touch, don't talk to people.
Yeah,
crazy COVID world. So I had to do the math. Like his birthday's coming up. Like I know the day and month. I was like, the year he was born. I was like, I gotta get this right.
Where was I?
So I was like, buddy, you're gonna be this? He's like, yeah, Dad. I was like, okay. So then you were born that. Okay, cool.
How much that was Marshall, you said?
Yeah.
Your youngest. Yeah, how old is he?
He's gonna be 6 on the 16th.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
6 on the 16th. Where does the time go? Crazy, man. Like, oh, so you were saying, yeah, we're wearing our
reason
stuff.
why we have the holiday stuff, and one of the questions I was going to ask you is, we tend to fight in our house over let's watch some Christmas movies, and the kids are all about traditional Christmas movies, Santa Claus, Rudolph, like Grinch, all that fun stuff. And I heard on the radio some interesting facts about Die Hard. And not that I'm the hugest Die Hard fan.
No.
But
Die Hard with a Vengeance. This is the third one. I like that.
Great movie.
Samuel Jackson makes it. Him and Bruce Willis together make it.
Do you consider Die Hard? Are you on the fence?
No, it's not a
Christmas movie. Okay.
It's just not. I appreciate the coolness and edginess of when somebody says, "What's your favorite Christmas movie?" and somebody's like, "Die Hard," right? Just like I've heard people say to be I've heard people say, you know, when they're like, well, Daniel was the bad guy in Karate Kid. Like, have you ever heard that kind of theory? You know, it's
didn't that stem from? I think the Cobra Kai thing stemmed from How I Met Your Mother. You're not a How I Met Your Mother fan.
No, I've seen every episode.
Okay, so you know, like that's.
It's been a long time, but you know the mothers from Cherry Hill, like the town we're in right now.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the mother's from Cherry Hill, the town we're in. Like,
sure. Let's get her on an episode.
The school she went into. So was Kelly Ripa, by the way. You know that, right?
Kelly Ripa, I know.
And Joseph Ripa, her dad, is like a freeholder for like ever. Owns
Ally McBeal's local too. Wasn't she a Shawnee? Callista Flockhart, I think, went to Shawnee.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right?
You know. Famous. So anyway, the mother, Cherry Hill.
Interesting.
What was her name? Something Miliani, maybe, or I could. No,
sounds right.
I don't know.
Oddly enough, How I Met Your Mother is how Marshall got his name Marshall. We love that character, so that was all my kids have pop culture.
So you have to Holden is obvious, right?
Catcher in the Rye.
And what Josie B? Let me think. Josie's on a vacation.
1,000% right.
Yeah.
1,000%
Damn,
right.
That's good. I just wish I didn't try to sing that because that was so bad.
That you do. But I tell her all the time.
Have you heard the Katy Perry version of that song?
I have not.
Dope as fuck.
She loves Katy Perry too. Like
Dope as fuck.
I can't wait. She'll be so excited to hear that.
All right, we're going to pause right now. We're taking a break. What'd you think?
Dude, I am so excited to show Josie that recording because I think she's really going to appreciate it. And
it's cool. And it's Katy Perry, which is cool.
Like she doesn't understand. She thinks like the song I play for her is like filmed and like recorded in like the 1800s. Like she doesn't understand it was the 1980s. Like,
that's a good point.
She thinks it was like, wow, they did that like big band orchestra. Like, you know, like she doesn't understand.
But dude, you were talking.
But maybe it'll hold up with her TikTok generation. Like I think Katy Perry, it'll hold a little.
But
more
that covers it's like a decade old now, so it kind of came under the radar. Like I don't know if it was released anywhere. I don't know how I even ever heard it, to be honest. I might have just been like. It might have been that you were saying you always played on jukebox. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's probably what happened. I was probably looking up Your Love or something on TouchTunes, and probably was like,
popped up as an option.
Maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, like that. So that's the song our wedding party came out to when we got married.
Yeah,
like we wanted something like fun as we walked out. So literally, the guy had it on loop because I was like, it's like one of my favorite songs. And
what was your wedding song?
That we danced to.
Whatever you. Yeah, I guess you call your wedding song. What
by Mark Cohen.
I don't know.
It was like I remember like my first or second date with my wife. She was like, "If I ever get married, this is the song I'm going to dance to." I was like, "Okay." But it's funny, me being such a music guy, I wasn't really into him, and like now, like I dive kind of deep into like
crappy music,
bad
pop music like me.
But I kind of went into his catalog and I was like, "Oh man, he's got some really cool stuff."
Nice.
So. What I wanted to say to you about the whole Die Hard Christmas movie.
We're back there. I forgot where we started.
Well, you know what?
Did we go from Die Hard to Katy Perry naturally, or was there did we make a stop in between?
I love how we said like this podcast might be non-linear when like our first episode. And
might
thoughts are non-linear. I don't know. Like if you look at our text messages, I think people might think we have multiple personalities or something. Like it's sad.
What do you want to smoke tonight? It's good. It's nice out today, isn't it?
Oh. Like, and you'll be like, use your words, Gar, or what are you responding to, or what are we saying? So it's probably more me.
You'll send me a picture randomly. You'll just send me like a screenshot.
You don't remember 15 days ago we were talking about a monkey eating a coconut. I found a picture of it.
Like, it's so cool. Monkeys eating coconuts.
So
dude, go ahead. Sorry, I know I keep cutting you off. Let's finish your thought there on that one.
So to finish up this Die Hard thing, that's not gonna.
It's not even gonna pay off probably, and it's gonna be 40 minutes of the episode.
Who was offered the role of Lieutenant John McClane in Die Hard?
All right, All right, first off, like, is there a chance that I'll guess it?
Like, do I know? Unless you know, no, because I didn't know it. But I mean,
but I know the actor.
Person. Oh, of course.
And if as an example, if you said, Eric, name 30 actors from the 90s, like, would that be one of the 30 most popular? Like, or are we talking like Eric Stoltz?
The second one, no. The second one would 1,000% be.
Oh, there's more than one?
It was offered to two people before Bruce Willis.
All right. Mel Gibson.
No.
That's a good guess, though.
It was a great guess. I didn't guess that.
All right. So
let me even the playing field a little bit. You're not going to guess the first one at all because you're going to be like, how is that? And I have a little bit of info on it, but you'll definitely be able to guess the second one. Think of action stars in that time frame.
Action stars, and it's
possible cigar lover as well.
Okay. Wait, no fucking way. It was like Sylvester Stallone.
Nope.
It wasn't Arnold.
Yeah.
Really?
They brought it to Arnold after the initial actor said no.
Who was the initial actor? Somebody I don't even know. Or
you know him. Frank Sinatra.
What?
Exactly.
Wait, hold on. How old was? No.
Yes.
I mean, I believe you, but
he was 73 when they brought it to him.
So how it was an entirely different movie, probably, right? I'm like blown away. Like
it was.
Rock my world.
It is. So
it had to be a different movie.
No. Same.
There's no way 77-year-old Sinatra is like crawling through 73-year-old Sinatra is crawling through ductwork in the skyscraper. Like,
so
yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! Is that a line?
Die Hard was based on a book that called
Try Hard, and he's like, "Oh, I'll give my best shot, guys."
Called Nothing Lasts Forever in 1979, which was a sequel to his original book called The Detective, which was made into a movie in 1968, starring Frank Sinatra. Contractually, since it was a sequel, they had to offer it to Frank Sinatra first.
Oh, so it was a symbolic offer, I'm sure, and he turned it down.
He turned it down.
Like as soon as he saw like I have to hang off of a building and like.
But I want to read these. First of all, I want to read these books. Like it was kind of based off of
books. But like,
or listen to an audio.
I can listen to the audio telenovel or whatever.
Right. But what a cool piece of trivia. Who was?
No, that is a cool piece of trivia. So I imagine it was symbolic, them offering it, and they were like, "All right, here's the deal, Frank. Your wife is 36 and your daughter is going to be 10."
So again, it was whatever the screenplays were, and I think contractually because it was technically a sequel. There's a lot of technicalities I went to it.
I'm sure they adapted the script. I'm sure they adapted the script.
Oh yeah. But they went to 73-year-old Sinatra and offered him John McClane. Like, can you imagine?
That's amazing.
So
imagine him then if he would have been like 82 or something in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
With Samuel Jackson? What a different movie.
Wearing a sandwich board that says, "I hate whatever" in Harlem. Which, by the way, dude, I watched that on like...
I don't know that you can make that movie today.
I don't know that one scene, but dude, I watched it on, I think it was like Hulu or something like that, and they didn't cut that. Like, I expected when he starts to turn where you see the sandwich board on the front, they would just skip that like 1 second of scene, because after you see it once, like you don't see it the whole time.
Which is funny because then they cut things like the program with the kids laying in the middle of the street, like with the newspaper as like a stunt. Remember the college football movie?
I never saw it.
So there was a hazing thing where literally the quarterback goes into traffic, reads it, like lays in the center lane of traffic, reading the newspaper, and cars are flying right by him.
Oh, wow.
Well, apparently college kids were doing it and getting hit by said cars.
Yeah.
So they literally, like, unless you saw it in the theaters, you never saw it. Like, that footage is gone.
Oh, they cut it
They cut it completely out.
Wow.
So like they'll cut something like that out, but not. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I guess what's going to
influence kids to kill themselves. Yeah, probably bad. But still, in today's climate, like this was a couple months ago. Like this was in the middle of protests and all that stuff, and they've Cops has been Cops is done. I don't think you can even find that anywhere. Yeah. Like they've really done. I don't know what the right word is. I mean, because frankly, it's not anything new to be like they used to be calling whitewashing, right?
Right.
So whatever it is, sort of erasing certain parts of history. on television. It is what it is. I mean,
Taking down statues.
There's plenty of television to watch. I'm not offended by it. I was just shocked that they didn't take that out.
But yeah, so now I've given you a nugget, and hopefully the viewers watching as well and listening as well.
People spying in and listening to us right now.
Right. Like, why are you listening to us?
Weirdos.
But now you can say, I bet you don't know who was offered, the John McClane's role.
That would say
Frank Sinatra.
That blows my mind.
It's funny you know who it is.
I would have thought, what did I say, Mel Gibson? Like, I think that was
a great guess.
My next guess was going to be like a Hopper.
Okay.
Dennis Hopper.
His name was Joe Leland in The Detective. And it makes me want to go watch The Detective.
Yeah, probably for like 10 minutes. And then be
Sinatra might be able to hold my attention.
Maybe. Did you ever watch the original? Maybe this is what you were going to say, the original Ocean's 11.
I did after the first one came out.
Same.
And again, I don't remember feeling the same way. Like I was like this. It's hard. Generational. Yeah.
Well, you just said Sinatra could hold your attention. What are you talking about?
That's true.
You're older now too, though, right?
That's true.
Like we are. What was it? My buddy was brought up, and I remember when the movie came out, he was really big into it, Into the Wild. And he said he's like it's one of the
Hirsch.
Yeah, yep. And he said he's like it's one of the few movies that's better than the book. He read the book, I didn't.
Right.
That had like Eddie Vedder, like Big Hard Sun, had a great song in it. But I was saying to my friend, just last night he was over having a cigar, and I said to him, I'm like, man, I really need to see that movie again because. I bet there's really deep, profound like messaging in there.
Couldn't even appreciate.
After when I was like 26, I probably watched it drunk.
I had a conversation with my dad about one of the things we used to do every Christmas, tying it back into Christmas, is we would watch It's a Wonderful Life. And sweet movie, whatever. But I find myself now being so emotionally connected on such a different level.
Right.
As a dad,
you have kids.
Like when he reaches in his pocket and the little girl's flowers, the little girl's flowers aren't there. When he wishes he was never born, and then he realizes that he doesn't have kids anymore, that they don't even exist in the world. Like the terror on his face, like it's moving.
I can imagine.
Wow. And I was, and it makes me want to go back to like Catcher in the Rye is my favorite book. I want to I read it every 10 years or so. I try to since high school, but you start to connect with different characters. Like I used to connect with Holden. And now I'm like, I kind of get where the adults are like, dude, you got to take care of yourself, man. You can't be walking around New York.
I don't remember the story that well. Like I know the premise, right? It's just a kid who goes around and does stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like his view of the world and like, is he mentally stable, And I
think there's a lot of cursing, I'm assuming, because why did the schools want to take it out?
Yeah,
Was it just cursing?
A lot of dirty words. And a lot, he drinks a lot. He, solicits a prostitute. Back then,
right.
Back then, that's a lot of that's some seedy stuff.
It is some seedy. Well, not back then. Now it's some seedy stuff. Back then, that was on network TV.
That's true.
I remember, like, even this is small. It's not egregious, but you remember that movie Little Monsters? Fred Savage and Howie Mandel. One of my favorite. Yeah, dude, and I had it like dubbed on VHS when I was a kid, and there was always at the end. Legit, like a contest you could enter. I don't know if you remember this sometimes at the end of movies, and like they would have a number, and it was Howie Mandel was singing like 1-800-MOREACE, like whatever. And like, I wonder if we should try to call him that now.
Maybe he still has it. Knowing him, he might.
He might.
But talking about grittiness and stuff, back in '68 when Sinatra did The Detective, they called it very gritty. And dude, it dealt with like homosexuality. There was like all these kind of taboo things, like in a 1968 movie. So
was it an action? Do you know?
Not as action packed, obviously. They said as Die Hard, but it was a detective movie. Like it was a.
That's just so wildly because Die Hard's not a detective movie.
Right, it's an action movie. So they said obviously way less action. But
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So wild.
But so honestly, driving to work this morning, it was on Preston and Steve. Like that was one of the questions. Like who was the first person proposition?
This is where I got to come clean. I got my Lakes facts from the radio today too.
What's radio?
WIP Sports Radio.
Well, hey, we're both learned men, though.
From the radio.
Does it make you feel old when people are like, what do you listen to? Because I'm a huge music guy, but in the morning I got to listen to I need to listen to talk radio in the morning.
What do you listen to? Because you're not an Eagles fan, so do you listen to sports radio? Or?
I listen to some sports radio if I can get that. Just because I'm not an Eagles fan, I still listen to local sports stuff.
You can the radio.com app.
Exactly.
Do you listen to?
So I'll tune into some of the New York stations. And it was upsetting, just trying to be a New York fan in this area is difficult. Like, we got booted out of Hulu the first time around because I had this brilliant idea. I was like, well, I'm just going to use my old New York address. Mm-hmm. Not realizing that the IP address that's connected to my thing, so we got, it didn't match up.
Yeah.
So Hulu was like, well, we're going to...
Do you know how to get around that with a VPN? I can show you how to get around that with VPN.
Gosh,
so I was able to do that. Dude, an Eagles game was on when I was in Portugal, and I was able to watch it on my iPad because I told the internet that I was in Philadelphia.
That's cool.
I can show you how to do that. Dude, they have commercial. I bet you hear the commercial almost every day.
Probably.
ExpressVPN commercial is on sports radio almost every day. Now,
can you do that to say I'm in wherever and I want to gamble on a New Jersey site?
I imagine you can.
Wow.
I imagine you can. I haven't tried to do that. But yeah, all it is you're kind of wiring yourself into a virtual machine that is actually located where it is. And so, you're like kind of using that machine.
Keep in mind, I'm just getting the hook of putting an Instagram post. Okay?
Yeah.
I said when they took away MySpace, I was so bummed. My page was lit, as the kids would have said. It was good.
I loved my page. I actually said that to somebody, like with some of my friends in group text we were talking about.
I liked the setup better. I think it was a better setup. You had a page, you had the stuff.
It was a much better setup. You could customize it. They weren't stealing your data and privacy. Like it was an amazing arrangement.
Which my wife, we were talking about getting our son Alexa, and I was like, "Well, babe, I don't want people hearing us." She just picked up her phone. She's like, "That's what do you think when you think about something and it becomes an ad on Facebook?" You're like,
dude, do you remember after 9/11 when the Patriot Act came out?
Yes.
And everybody freaked the fuck out because you could listen to American citizens. Mm-hmm. And then every American citizen went and put a listening device in their house, right? It is what it is.
There was a funny cartoon.
I was just to finish that thought real quick. I said, and my mom blows her mind because she doesn't she's very Republican when wants the government out, understandably, of our lives. And I'm like, Mom, just so you know, if they invent a chip that I can put in my brain and I can do everything I do on my phone, in my head without, I'm signing up first.
That's actually amazing. I'm going to send a text.
I'm just going to think
I'm going to send something to Eric. It's raunchy. I'm going to have to squint.
Or you're accidentally
Why would I have to squint?
You're accidentally watching porn on your microchip, and then you accidentally send that link to your mom because you're like a mom enters your brain really quickly accidentally. Fuck, get that thought out.
Yeah. Unsend. I saw a cartoon. It was in the 1960s, the government one day is going to learn how to, spy on us. And then it's today, hey, government listening device, how many teeth does a platypus have?
Did they really say teeth as a platypus?
I think so. That's why I thought it was pretty funny.
That is good.
So we're about midway?
Dude, we're about halfway. I think we're going to be smoking this until next week.
I was going to say, do we have a time? I would love to know just the time in and around what we're at. Not to make you go do a task, but...
Yeah, 50 minutes, dude. So, it makes sense. It was advertised about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But normally when sticks are advertised an hour and a half.
We take it down.
Well, the Davidoff, we should come clean. We were misinformed, I think, by one source on that one, right? Because we were saying, we read you got to smoke it over 2 hours. But you said everywhere else it was 1 hour.
Not that it was everywhere else. I think whoever did the review said the optimal for the taste, to give it that 90 whatever, was a 2 hour. On the Davidoff
That's
site,
one man's opinion.
On the Davidoff site, it said 45 minutes.
I'm going with Davidoff.
Beautiful. You had a halo. I wish I could have taken a picture. You looked like an angel.
Maybe it'll be on the video.
Over you. But then I think back to it was named after Winston Churchill. He had 12 a day. He couldn't have been doing 2 hour smokes. There's not enough hours in the day. I don't get it.
I mean, it's true.
But, I know we were talking about it, but really reminiscent of some of the Sakas that I've had just on the retrohale. I think you said it beautifully. Complexity without overwhelming. It's an enjoyable stick.
It really is.
Really, really good.
What, I was wondering, I saw in a text, same text I keep bringing up, but,
I only text you. So.
Yeah, it came up, came up the other day that, regional food names. Right?
Yes.
Just for we're in Jersey and you're from New York, and these people also there's down to Maryland. So we had people on that text from Jersey and Maryland. And it was crazy how different. So you call soda, right? Soda. In New York, is it soda?
Soda, because in the Midwest it's pop, right?
Right. And then in the South it's just Coke.
Which is, and I remember hearing that for the first time, and I was like,
what kind of Coke do you want? What kind of Coke do you want?
Right.
That's what they'll say.
But see, it's no different than when someone says, you want a Kleenex.
Is it not different? I don't know. I mean, you're probably right. It's technically not different.
It's the most famous brand of soda.
Yeah, but no. Because, nobody says, give me a Kleenex. And you're like, well, what flavor do you want? It's always the same thing. No, regardless of the brand, it's the same thing. It's not, there's no qualifier after it.
That's true.
It's just, you just
and you know what? How come only with facial tissues? I don't say I got to buy Charmin. I guess I got toilet paper.
Bubble Wrap is a brand name.
Oh, it was duct tape.
Oh, was it duct?
Duct tape
DUCT?
is a
Oh, really? It's a brand?
Well,
No.
is Duck the brand? Because I know there's a duck on it.
DUCK is a brand.
Okay.
Duct tape is a
the
thing.
product,
It's a
right.
thing, yeah.
But everyone calls it duct tape.
I think it's just because we're lazy and we don't enunciate.
Don't say
I think most people
T.
know it's duct tape. And then duct tape came out later as a play, like a joke on that.
You know when you start to see things you say weird, like teaching my kids to read and spell.
And you say the same word over and over and it starts to lose meaning.
My
It sounds
wife, like, how do you say the word Crayon? How do you pronounce that word?
weird. I'm going to say it like an idiot right now because a crayon.
Right. My wife says
Crown.
Crown.
I think I actually say crown. Like if I say it naturally, I don't know.
But like she legit says crown, and like it's been a thing where I'm like,
that's a Jersey
there's no
thing, South
W in
Jersey
it,
thing.
right? Right, exactly.
She's from South Jersey, right?
Yeah, she's
Where'd she go to?
Woodstown. She's an Elmer girl.
Woodstown. The rodeo? Is the rodeo out there?
Cowtown Rodeo is right around there.
Yeah.
So me being from New York,
Rodeo in Jersey.
We've done the Bronx Zoo and the Cowtown Rodeo in the same day, in the same Saturday.
Really?
Oh my God. So my kids were like, you and Dad grew up in very different places. So I remember my wife, the first time I took her to the Bronx Zoo, we're on like West 178th Street in the Bronx. She's like, are we going to see the zoo? And I was like, yeah, you'll see it. And then it like opens up. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I've never been.
Never the Bronx Zoo. We got, you
Really?
love the Bronx. It's beautiful.
It's a zoo, right?
Yeah, it's like the best zoo.
Is it?
Yeah, it's good. It's pretty cool.
It would be a cool trip. But talking about taking a trip to the Bronx Zoo, I still got to get you over to the 2 brick and mortars I found that are near me, and I keep forgetting to bring it up. We keep forgetting to do it. Maybe the Christmas
really
break,
running low
man.
on sticks.
Yeah, I know.
No. That's a great idea. Maybe we'll do like a marathon sleepover episode.
We'll shoot a few
debauchery
episodes.
Nonsense.
We'll go to a couple. We can even record us going to the shops.
I think that would be great. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
especially if we're going to talk about.
We can duct tape our iPhones to our forehead. And then we can just record stuff as we walk around.
Well, you have a pocket right here. You're good. You're solid.
Wait, where's your phone? Do you have to have it with you?
Yeah. It'll fit.
But you got to make it.
I'm going to burn your face. This is making for great.
This makes for great podcasts.
Oh, it's definitely it. You're good.
I mean, for the people,
it will face up and it'll be terrible.
I don't want to drop your phone.
Yeah, you're good. Apple Care, bud.
I know, dude.
Are you
this summer? I had to use Apple Care for the first time this summer because I had said IPAs in the pool, and my phone was out and it overheated. Right? You know, when the screen goes black, or like it gets hot and you can't use it. And I was like, "Oh, these iPhones are waterproof.
I'll cool it down." They are. Oh, did it shatter?
No. I put it in I put it in 2 inches. Did a little zhuzh, a little swishy. Pulled it out. And I broke my phone. It wound up, I was able to put it in rice and get it to work for like a day, and then it stopped working again. I had to use Apple Care. But I did not tell him that, I told him it was water damage, but I did not tell him, I just, I thought it needed a bath.
Cool it off. It doesn't say, please submerge me in
Dude, it's water.
Like, I put mine in the shower. My wife thinks I'm crazy. Like, I listen to music or watch videos, like I'll put it up in like the soap holder.
Really?
Mine just fell in the water. Mine's falling in.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I called Apple and like I told him what happened.
They're like, oh, it's Eric again. What did you do this time?
No. The guy was actually the guy at Apple was actually like, yeah, waterproof-ish. Like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Now they're getting big into this. They're probably going to take away the charging port, and it's all going to be encapsulated, and it'll just charge. Like,
that's what I use anyway.
Yeah,
that's what I use most of the time anyway.
And these new 12s now, like there's magnets, like so you can like get accessories for it that'll stick on magnetized through the case and everything.
Huh. I think they make magnet stuff like that before though, right? Or I think
Samsung and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and they're always ahead of Apple. Yeah. But we all go to Apple. We just do. I mean, for me, it's because I have a Mac computer at this point. And the iPads, I'm so entrenched, and it's actually cool, dude. So, like, even this episode, right? Like, I'm recording the video on my phone, and then when I go to edit it, I'm just gonna pull up my computer. I'm not gonna have to plug my phone into the computer.
It's amazing.
It's just in the cloud, and so it's kind of a cool ecosystem.
I use Apple because I'm not smart, so like I need it to be like me want take picture, like like I had other phones, and it's
when you go to an Apple, I think like in the first day or something, there's a learning curve. Even the computer, if you go from a PC, but then once you get past that learning curve, like now, the idea of me going back to a PC would be a little terrifying.
You also have a television that's hovering over your ceiling that comes down. That you were like, takes a whole minute? Jeez.
No, I'm just saying, it was slow. I was a little embarrassed. I was showing you my cool toy, and it took a whole minute to come down from the ceiling. The TV took a whole minute to come down from
nowhere.
the ceiling.
Oh, man. I was like, I'm leaving. A minute? Where do I have to be? Where am I? So just looking at the stick, going back to the stick, any flavor profile changes for you? Or are you kind of feeling the same vibe throughout?
You have to give me a second because I've been so into this conversation that frankly I haven't been paying attention to the stick. I just know I love it. I don't think I've had a change. Oh, you know why? I actually read this. I think it's designed that way, that they do something where I forget the exact phrasing that was used. It was on a different site, but I think they use like they find a way, I guess, to get like a very even distribution,
Consistent.
Very even distribution. Whereas some sticks, it's not super even distribution, but it's kind of even. They call it by design, but maybe it's because of the laziness, and that's why it changes through the thirds and yada 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 yada. But this one is apparently designed to stay consistent, right?
It sounds right because it's staying like spot on consistent. I'm still getting those like Swedish tobacco, not Swedish. Not Swedish. Sweet.
I wish I could do it. I wish I could do a
Verdi,
Swedish.
tobacco. I think of the Swedish chef for smoking.
No, that's what I was like. I was about to say. I wish I knew how the Swedish chef talks, but I think you got it. That's better than I could do. I don't know. I haven't watched Sesame Street in, I don't know, at least a couple
weeks.
One of
my favorite. He threw something in like the trash and he was like, "Oh, 2 points." I was like, "This is amazing. The Swedish chef's unbelievable." I read a cool quote about this stick in particular, Velvet Rat, and someone said, "It shouldn't be the first stick of your evening. It should be the only stick of your evening."
Wow.
And I was like, "Wow!" And so I was intrigued. I don't know if they talked about the complexity of it.
And
maybe
don't ruin it. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I would say it's the only stick of your night because it takes your whole night to smoke.
Well, that's part of it, man. Like I would say we're
faster
than average,
probably
in a lot of categories. But cigar smoking being one of them.
Yeah,
dude.
Yes, cigar down.
But I will say this is cold.
That's at least the third time.
Oh, big time.
A cigar in the air.
Yeah.
The third I know of. I'm wondering, is it fourth? It might be a fourth. Did you drop one last week with Brian?
I don't think so.
No, you're not.
But it's getting a little chilly.
Yeah.
South Jersey. But I'm going to tell you, man, I was so worried about
I'll tell you what, it's a lot better in here than it is outside.
Oh, right? Smoking indoors, this is paradise. I'm literally gloved up. I've sent you pictures. I'm by my fire pit because we're storing, we're helping Santa out, storing some gifts in the garage.
Oh, that's nice of you.
We're, trying to help out. So my wife's like, "You can't go and smoke cigars in there." I was like, "That makes sense." So after Christmas,
why does Barbie's hair smell like she's been at Jay's elbow room all night?
why does Ken smell like St. Patrick's Day? This is bad. But what I will say is, going out, like, I kind of know it's going to be cold, and I try not to do it right when it, too late. But I'll go out like between 6 and 7, and sitting by the fire, it's bearable. So I was like happy to know that. Yeah. If it doesn't drop too far below the 30s.
I mean, like
37. Like last night, I felt fine.
Winter was pretty mild. The winter before that, I think we had like 2 weeks in the 20s. It was crazy.
I won't be able to do that.
No, I don't think I could do that in the garage.
I don't think so. But hopefully by that time, like I will be able to kind of have a makeshift.
Well,
something.
And what I found is honestly what does best is actually the small space heater directed at me. Not like the heater. It definitely helps. Trust me. I mean, we're here without shirts on right now, but
you don't have pants on. It's unbelievable.
The only thing is, I think they might be able to see my leg, and I have pants on. But yeah, the space heater being directly on me has been nice because what I think I just overlooked is the fact that when I turn the heat on in the garage, I have all these weights and like all these tools and this that they're all freezing cold.
Right.
So even though the heater's on, everything's radiating cold.
Yeah.
So really, just the heater directly on me is what does it.
But if I get a nice
and the exhaust is a big.
It draws it out.
That's nice.
It's great.
Yeah.
But then you're taking,
I'll
take the smoke over.
It depends though, because it's cool. Because like I have it off now, and then if it starts to get too smoky in here, I pump that on high for 1 minute, and it clears it out pretty nice, and it doesn't take too much of the heat out.
I'm excited for when hopefully COVID's a thing of the past. I'm hoping that sooner than later. And this is a great setup for just having a great guys' night.
I know.
Maybe playing poker, watching some CD television.
Which actually, now that I bring it up, like all I have up there is an attic fan, right? So I'm in a garage that has vents on either side, and I just slapped an attic fan on it. Just throwing it out there to give anybody ideas. Like it's a pretty cheap, easy, way to add exhaust to the garage. It's not perfect. I need to add actually like ductwork and a hood to like our smoking area to make it really effective.
Right.
But like I'll tell you what, for like winter hit really fast. Like remember there was before. Like we had like a cold snap for a week, and then it warmed up again a little bit. But in that cold snap, I realized I needed to do something, and just a pretty cheap attic fan gave me some ventilation in here.
It made me kind of look into things. Like I was looking at old tool sheds, like on the Facebook yard
whatever
sales.
happened to the tent? You were going to get a tent.
Yeah, I did a little bit more research on them.
The boss gave you approval, I thought.
Yeah, no, Allie's all into it. She was even like, I love the idea of the Airstream. Like, it looked cool in the thing, it looked cool in the backyard. But then I'm still like, all right, now I have like a little Airstream with like a kitchen. It's just, I just need an open, covered space.
Yeah, an Airstream would be a little, they're not cheap.
No, like, but these were like under like a couple $100, like old. I'm talking about like dudes from like the 60s, 70s that are
like in the hundreds?
$800, $900.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like everything's broken, it doesn't work. Like
it's outdated. But
I wouldn't use Airstreams are known for holding value.
Right.
So that's why I'm like they're known for holding value.
Part of me also is like a lot of these Facebook yard sales, I feel like, I found like a Harley that's not a bad deal, and I'll message like, I'm selling this for my sister-in-law. You got to message this person. I'm like, dude, this is like scam city.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah, I haven't really bought much.
Right.
I'll tell you what, when I had a car to sell one time, and I put it up on Facebook Marketplace, and I want to say, I put it up for a very fair price, like
how long ago was this?
2017, 2008.
Okay, so recent.
Yeah, put on Facebook Marketplace. And I don't know, let's say Kelly Blue Book was like $4,000. I put it on there for like $3,500 or something like that, assuming I'd get $3,000 and call it a day. But all I got was messages like $400. And I said to the guy, I was like, $400? He was like, you said there's scratches on it. I was like, yeah, and they're in the picture. If you squint, you can see them. Like I was being above board by saying there's a couple scratches, and I put pictures, but we're talking a couple scratches by like the keyhole where you put the keys in, and it's a 10-year-old car. The car didn't even have power windows. No, it was an old car.
I remember that. Like when I sold my Harley, like you would really be like, the guy was like, sight unseen cash, $800. I'm like, no, you can come look at it, and like, no, the price is where we're at. Like, I'll work with you, but
yeah. Did you ride your bike a lot when you had it?
My Harley?
Yeah.
I did. I got it before I got married. Like I had a.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, I had it. I had bikes while we were like doing our CrossFit.
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't know why I thought you got them. You got a bike like later. Like I don't know that I knew that about you while like in that era when we met.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, motorcycle. Yeah.
Did you start with a Harley?
No, I had a Kawasaki Vulcan, which is
that's
a Harley body, but it's
okay. Yeah, it's
their version of a cruiser.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's pretty big. That's for a 20-something-year-old. That's like, isn't that kind of daddish for like it's kind of cruiserish or?
It was really like I didn't want to spend on not knowing how much I was going to ride, not knowing if I bought it without having a license. Like I just bought it. I taught myself how to ride in my development.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so
I rode dirt bikes as a kid.
Yeah, that's still a big thing. Like I've ridden dirt bikes as a kid. I'm not getting on a big motorcycle without practicing.
What was
getting
nice
back in the saddle.
What was nice about it is the Kawasaki was plastic, so like it was light. It was easy to maneuver. I'll tell you what, it was a great bike.
Did you take a test in that, or did you take it in a scooter?
No, I didn't take it in a scooter. I took it on a motorcycle, but I took the motorcycle safety class at a local community college. They did it on a Friday night in the classroom, studying. You take your written test. Then Saturday and Sunday are on a bike. It's a motorcycle, but it's like a 250cc.
Yeah, that's a big thing they do at Barb's Harley too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what was funny was, so I go in to take this class. And when I got my license at the end of this class, the instructors asked me to stay back. And like, we have to apologize to you. I was like, for what? They were like, I think there was 25 people in the class, and I was one of like 11 or 12 that passed. They were like, we all put a money bet since we've been teaching this class on who is not going to pass the test on a 250cc bike. I was 330 pounds at the time. I'm 6'4", 6'4.5". They're like, we just didn't. They're like, you looked like a trained circus bear. Yeah. On this bike, and like
not exactly a nimble guy.
And for those,
and you got to go through cones.
You got to do cones,
and you got to
do a figure eight. You
have
to do a figure eight in a certain amount of area. You obviously can't put your feet down. You got to go over debris, and they'll put out like boards and stuff. But it started raining when I took my road test. It was scary, but no, I've never enjoyed the motorcycle.
I've never ridden a motorcycle or anything on a road. And one of the things people always said was the scariest part was grates, going like over a bridge. Like grates, did that ever fuck you up?
It makes that weird sound.
Yeah.
But no, scariest sound I ever heard on my Harley, which is one of the reasons I sold it. A guy just came out of nowhere, must have been texting, and it only happened to me once where my brakes locked up, and it just made this. It sounded like they were killing a pig.
You get fishtail or anything? Or?
I fishtailed. I thought I was going down. I literally, in my head, when things happen, it's so quick, but it feels like it's taken an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, get to the median. It was on 73. Get into the median. I was trying to get to the grass strip so I could jump and didn't get run over by cars behind me. It was scary.
Did you?
No, I was able to think back to the motorcycle safety class and like pump my brakes a little bit, get the wheel moving, and like it happens within.
Yeah. Did you like stop afterwards just to calm down?
Stopped at a red light. Everything was fine. By the time I started, complete panic attack. Complete and utter panic attack. I had to take side roads home. I didn't get out of second gear. It took me an hour to get home, which would have taken me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, I put the bike in the garage and I didn't go back to it for like
I'll never forget, man. My mom was in a gnarly Harley accident when I was a kid.
And your mom and I talked about Harleys all the time because she had a Road King, called it the Road Queen, and I remember driving it up to her jewelry shop to like show her like, me and your mom talked shop about the bikes. You know, it was cool.
That's funny. But did she ever tell you about her accident?
No, I don't think so,
dude. All right, so
I would have remembered it.
We were camping. Me and my parents. They had a trailer. We had a trailer like in a campsite. So during the summers, we would go, boat in the slip, trailer in the campsite every summer. That's where you'll find us. And then ultimately, when they got in the motorcycles, they incorporated that. So sometimes we would go down, and I had tons because I was there every summer. I had tons of friends, So we would go on a Saturday. Yeah, on a Saturday they'd go for a ride. I'd hang out with the kids, which is another thing that's kind of wild. That something that parents might not do today. When I say play with the kids, I'm talking like swimming in the lake that's over your head, like doing all that stuff unsupervised.
And how old would you say you were?
I was 15. So older. That was old. But that I haven't gone on since I was 10 or whatever. So anyway, they go out for the ride. This is when Powerball got big, but wasn't in Jersey yet. So it was a big common thing. Let's get on the bikes. Let's go down to Delaware. Grab some Powerball tickets. It's just a place to ride to. So they were heading down, approaching the Delaware Memorial Bridge, and a guy who was apparently up all night gambling in Atlantic City, driving home to I think Maryland. Mm-hmm. This is what's crazy. She got rear-ended because she was going like 50, 60, and he fell asleep at the wheel and his foot hit the gas. So imagine you're getting rear-ended at 50, 60 miles an hour on a motorcycle. And so she's laid out, and the guy takes off, and they set up a blockade. Somebody was able to call, and they like blocked him at the bridge, at the Memorial Bridge, and they got him. And so he gets arrested out on bail. My mom goes to some podunk hospital down there in super rural Jersey. And the doctor's like, broken clavicle, this, that, whatever. You're going to have to go, I guess maybe like let it rest a little bit and come back in a couple of days. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Let some swelling go down. Maybe they would have to set stuff. I don't really know. I wasn't there. But my dad goes, did you check for internal bleeding? And they were like, well, no, because based on certain things, and he was like, you need to check for internal bleeding. And they did, and they fucking bust her straight to Cooper. Like she would have died that night. Her spleen was ruptured. She would have died in her sleep that night, likely.
I did not know that. That's
wild, right? Scary. So now imagine me. I'm swimming. I don't know any of this is going on because I'm just hanging out in the campground. Well, I'm hanging out in the campground, and they're gone, right? And I'm in the lake, and I hear the Harleys, through the woods, because it's a windy road through the woods. So I hear through the woods, and I always know. I look up from the lake, and they're going to be turning the corner soon. What turns the corner is my dad on his motorcycle and my grandparents in their car. Now imagine you're a kid, and both your parents just took off on a motorcycle, and now your dad comes back on the motorcycle, and your mom's parents are in a car.
Yeah,
isn't that fucking wild? So what happened was, it was crazy. I start bawling, crying. I'm like, I don't even know if I was pounding my dad's chest or what. I'm like, you got her into riding motorcycles, like blah, 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 whatever. I hop in my grandparents' car. And then things shift for the next couple weeks. My mom's in the hospital for weeks, trach, like the whole nine, like fucked, right? And I was dad for those couple weeks because now at this point, things had shifted. We were a little bit calmer. Now my dad, like you said, after like the panic attack a minute later, now my dad's a puddle, right? For the next week, he's crying every night because he's like, could lose his wife, almost lost his wife or whatever. I'm making dinner every night. Like it was crazy.
It is crazy. When I tell you, I put it in the garage, and I don't think I went in the garage for 2-3 weeks.
Did you ever ride it again, or did you sell it?
Oh yeah, I rode it again.
Yeah.
But that's when I was like, and it's funny. My wife would ride with me. And there was part of me that was like, you should get your license just in case we're ever out. Like I'm hurting or something and you got to ride it home, whatever. And she's like, no, I just want you to ride it. And once we had kids, she was like, I will not go on that bike with you again. Because she's like, we can't both go down.
So this is another crazy kind of fun story. My mom, you know my mom, like she'll take anything on. The way she started riding, my dad actually didn't get her into it. They didn't have motorcycles. My dad had motorcycles earlier before they met. They got me a dirt bike. And my dad's teaching me how to ride the dirt bike in my backyard, just like kind of circles, a decent sized backyard. And it was funny. I remember like running into the fence, like all kinds of stuff. And so going in little circles in my backyard, and my mom just comes out and she's like, hey, I want to try that. And then does some laps. And she's like, I want a motorcycle. Yeah. And then my parents, they go get motorcycles. They ride Harleys for a decade until they get rid of them when they retired.
Yeah, I remember when I saw her put it up for sale. I was like, what are you doing? She was like, yeah, it just didn't.
Well, no, it was when they retired that when my dad retired. his insurance that wouldn't cover motorcycles or something like that. It was wild to me, but.
Or if she got injured, I don't think after the retirement they wouldn't cover whatever.
If it was on a motorcycle, motorcycle, it just wasn't covered. Yeah, that's what I mean.
But that's so funny hearing that story about your mom, because what solidified it for me is I went to a buddy's bachelor party out in Key West. We rented scooters for the week.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to buy a scooter when I get home. And then I was like, I can't buy a scooter. I'll, pretty big dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just get a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And literally I got it. The Barb's Harley delivered this Kawasaki. My wife, we were.
Oh, you bought the Kawasaki from Barb's Harley?
Yeah, used. Yeah, it was just.
Oh, because people trade them in. I guess when they. Did you? Yeah.
Literally walked in. They delivered it the next week, and I was like, I guess I got to learn how to ride this.
So I'm surprised they aren't like, hey, you need a license to buy it. I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's like I don't know.
They're delivering it. They don't.
Yeah. And I never really thought about it, but it makes sense. So when you got rid of that Kawasaki for Harley, did you trade it into Barb's Harley?
I didn't. There was a stretch where I had 2 motorcycles. Kept one in Brian's garage, who was on last episode. So he was like, I have a motorcycle for a little bit. He actually toyed around with buying one and buying mine when I upgraded to the Harley. But it was a great time. And
Brian bought yours?
No, he was toying around with talking to it. But yeah.
I heard part of what you said and you zoned out for that. I'm like, wait.
No,
And Jen squished that, I imagine. Or?
Yeah, just everything with it's just what you find as a family person. It's such a solitary thing.
It is a solitary thing, and it's a pretty risky thing to get into when you have kids.
It's risky and selfish.
It's one thing.
I'll admit that. It's not like going, hey, I need to go fishing, or it's not like, hey, I'm going out to smoke a cigar for 2 hours with Eric.
Right.
It's very different. I'm going to go possibly wreck, and you'll never see me again. But everyone thinks they're invincible. I'm going to tell you, I was like, listen, I took the safety class. I know, but I think you.
Well, they say it's not you; it's the other people.
That's exactly what it is. I remember the scenario. Cops had 2 lanes of 73 blocked. This guy wasn't paying attention. He's next to me. I'm here. We're both going 60. I go down to maybe 40, 45. By the time he looks up from his phone and realizes he has to get over, he's like, well, I got to get over.
Yeah.
I'm just going to move over. I have to move. If we're in cars, it's not a big deal. You kind of kiss cars and you're like, whatever. There's damage, but no one's hurt.
Did the cops see it? Did they do anything?
No, because it wasn't an accident.
It was just so quick.
It was just a thing. It was just, you ever hit your brakes real quick and they squeal?
Yeah, I guess I'm just picturing like a motorcycle, fishtailing.
It was. I fishtailing.
After the guy, I don't know, give the guy a careless driving ticket or something.
Yeah, but they already, I guess whatever they had done, they already pulled the wheel over. Might have been a drunk driving thing.
Yeah.
But, but again, I always say I'll get another one, but who knows?
Do you? Like maybe when the kids are gone in college or something like that?
Yeah, maybe for my 60th or something. Who knows?
When you retire, something like that? When do you think you'll retire? What age?
Every day you ask me, I'd probably give you a different answer. Some days I'm like, as soon as I can retire, I'm going to do it. Some days I'm like, I'll get my admin cert and I'll be a principal somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
Until they tell me I can't do it anymore. But it depends on what my kids want to do. If they're, college and I got to help them out, you know what I mean? If they're, who knows, kids are living at home so much longer these days. I remember when it was like...
Oh, so you're saying you might have to work just to take care of kids till they're 40. By the time your kids... If I ever have kids... Oh, I know.
It's a thing.
By the time I have kids, yeah. Which would be a problem because I'd be having kids older. So it's on my mind. If I ever did have kids, might have kids in the house till I'm 90. And be like Elton John. Be like Elton John. Man.
And it's funny, you have kids. You're like, oh man, let's get them set up, and you want them to be, And then I'm like, one day they're not gonna be in my house. What a weird thing. You create these humans, and you try to teach them as much as you can, and you see the genetic nonsense that's in you and them, and you try to shy them away from it, and then they're just like, all right, send them out in the world. Good luck.
Dude, I have that thought too, right? We're all...
Do your best.
We've all been on the receiving end of that too, right? And it is wild. I've thought about it in the context, actually, of athletes.
Okay.
So, you're a kid playing sports. You get pretty good at it. Now you're like, oh, maybe I'm going to try to get this, into college. And let's say it's something, like a rowing or something like that, where it's like college is probably where it's done.
Right.
And then, then you hear about former athlete adults who have this little bit of a complex, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, I don't know why. It was a random thought I had. I'm like, well, when do you go from kid playing sport to quote former? I used to play sports. I don't call myself a quote former athlete.
I don't even consider myself a former athlete.
And you were
I was an NCAA.
Yeah.
I have I did some things, decently. But you know what I find the most
enjoyable? You put some shot.
I did. I put some shot. I enjoy taking my kids and seeing them enjoy what I enjoyed. Like there's a lot of fun in that. Like I coached also.
Oh my God. Hold on. I wish I could actually rewind a second. Because we actually just almost had a moment where we talked about your high school like shot put record, which lasted for like 20 years or something like that, right? 20 years, just got broken last year, while you're wearing a Polk High shirt.
Oh my God. Wow. Cool.
Al Bundy. What was it, 4 touchdowns?
I thought it was 3.
Was it
But
3?
it might have been 4. Because 3 never seemed like that crazy.
Back then it is.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, now quarterbacks are, NFL games are, in the 40s and stuff.
Not for the Eagles.
Or the Giants, come on.
I'm just kidding.
It is pretty wild.
Stink.
No, you guys stink, but dude, Eagles went from when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, if I was a Cowboys, Washington, or New York fan, I would have just assumed man, the next decade's gonna be rough for us. Because the Eagles were just on that trajectory.
Yeah.
You felt it, right? They had that young quarterback who was gonna be the next potential whatever, and you found this stud coach who was doing all these nifty things.
Yeah,
and then our nifty coach Doug Peterson turned into the Fonz from Waterboy, where he's just sad and can't draw up a single freaking play anymore.
It's true.
And now we got our backup rookie quarterback starting Monday or tomorrow or Sunday.
What did I send you? Wentz on the bench.
Wentz on the bench. Oh no! And then did you? Yeah, you sent me Wentz on the bench, Mensch on the bench or whatever.
Yeah, did you see?
And then there was I saw another one. It was I guess after the Packers game, and it's just a picture of Aaron Rodgers whispering into Wentz's ear, and then I forget exactly what he says, but it's how to something how that game went or something like that. And then the Carson Wentz part is oh come on man. And then Aaron Rodgers goes, Hurts, doesn't it? Because Jalen Hurts is the quarterback. Yeah, it was a pretty good one. I just butchered it. But, yeah, man, I feel bad for Wentz. But, I mean.
You know what, though? I mean, I guess having been an athlete and kind of seeing what happens, we have all these ideas of grandeur. Even us with, we're lifting and we're trying to get in,
everybody loses their fastball at some point.
Everyone loses their fastball, but I think it happens even more so when you get married and you have that first kid. I kind of saw it coming for Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
It's here was a guy that his life was football. Yeah. But now his life has to get split into thirds now.
Yeah. Well, dude, I think
kid, wife, this. Yeah.
Oh, that for sure. Yeah, the idea that he went from being able to study film until you have to get home. You have kids. You got all that stuff. So that's one. But to be fair, every person in the NFL goes through that, so he doesn't get a pass for that.
Not that he gets a pass for it, but I kind of anticipate. I was there's going to be some level.
No, but every quarterback. Why would you say that about Wentz and not have said that about any of the Mannings or whoever? I don't
know.
It's just honestly, I think what happened was it's a combination of things. A couple of really unfortunate injuries that have him just twisted in his head, plus bad talent around him, plus bad coaching around him, and it's just in this terrible, terrible place. I feel bad for him because it's interesting. I was listening to sports radio the other day. Ike Reese is one of the hosts, former Pro Bowler with the Eagles,
right? And
then another one of the hosts is just a guy, but he he was apparently a big prospect in high school. Everybody around here, and everybody thought he was going to go pro, and then it fizzled out in college. I don't know if it was an injury or what, but he made a really funny joke the other day because he fizzled out in college, and Ike Reese played a really long career, and they were talking about Wentz, and the younger guy, he's like, look, man, Wentz lost his fastball. We all lose our fastball.
I like that.
And he's like, Ike, you lost your fastball late in life. Me, I lost my fastball early in life. Wentz lost it kind of early, but after me. We all lose it at some point.
But it's true.
I think I lost mine in 3rd grade.
But I mean, just, I don't, 40's not old. We're going to be, I'm going to be 40 in the summer, and little things my arm, this arm, I still see the inflammation and it still hurts from a benching incident 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Even
that's why I walk. It's 30 degrees out, and I go for walks because I'm I don't know, the stress of body lifting right now. I just and we don't lift light weights.
No, a good friend.
I think the problem with us, honestly, with both of us, is that we have too much strength to lift heavy weights, but we don't train to lift heavy weights. And I think what happens is we get into it, we lift heavier weights because we actually physically can, and we think because we physically can that we can should. And we shouldn't, right? We should all, at our age especially, we should probably, if you haven't, come in maybe in the spring when you start lifting again, you should probably treat the first month like you've never lifted and just do barbell work, almost. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny, for me. Going back to it, literally what my workouts now are, I brought a couple bands in the house. I do banded push-ups, just for some resistance.
Let's be honest, how often?
Oh, sporadically at best. I brought them in. That was step one. So they're assessing.
I know. How many times have we all done that where you think about working out and you're like, I lost a couple calories for that, right? Like I get some credit for thinking about it.
You know what? I read a study, it was years ago now, but that when you think about exercising, the same part of your brain that's active while you're exercising also gets,
right.
So there could be
but the calories don't burn. I don't think.
I don't know. Let's do a longitudinal study with us.
I was going to say, I've in my own little bubble of personal study, I've thought about but not worked out a ton. And
so if I think about playing the lottery and those numbers come up, can I be like, I was going to do that?
That's going to do it. You get a portion, I think. You get some credit for like inspiring it.
So coming into the final third
here. Probably a good time to wrap this guy up. I mean, not much to say about it, to be honest, right? It's a fantastic stick. We'll figure out what our grade is after this. We don't want to share our grade yet because our grading system isn't perfected yet. But I don't know. Any final thoughts for you? The flavor. Did we ever really talk about the flavors like that we taste? Like, because I'm getting like definitely a little bit of like that anise licorice kind of thing that you get sometimes from like an oily Maduro.
I totally see where you're getting with that. I get some chocolate. I mean, I'm gonna call it like tobacco, but not like a like.
See, I wouldn't call it.
You don't get. I'm getting like a.
I normally get that from a little bit lighter.
Okay.
Sticks personally. Like
maybe it's the
sweetness
off of it, but I almost get, and even the smell, a little bit of infused. Like it almost smells.
Is the end of your tongue like, I don't want to say tingly, but it goes back to anise, like licorice, fennel, something like that.
That could be
not
what
spice, not numb.
It's
like
not spice. It's not pepper.
No, it's just a.
I get why they call it the velvet because man, it's smooth. There's no harshness to this.
To be fair, though, and it's fun to just play with and watch the smoke trails too. But to be fair, I would say that all the Ligas that we've had do that probably, right? This kind of smoke, this big, thick, pillowy, bluish smoke.
It totally does. I'm actually curious to go back and watch episode 1, A, to see how we've developed, and B, to see what I thought of the year.
I haven't watched any of our old, but we're on episode 11. But like, yeah, I haven't watched because I know, and we still suck probably. Like we're not at our peak yet. But like,
let's hope we get a fastball to lose.
That's a good. That's a good point. Yeah, we're developing. Actually, we're developing the fastball.
Let's even see if we can have a decent changeup.
Well, yeah. Don't you have to develop the fastball first, and then I don't know.
Sure.
I've never been a baseball player. I played lacrosse.
Not a good one.
No, I played lacrosse.
No, but I mean, definitely a good stick, high end stick. I was trying to think, especially with these Ligas, if you took the band off and you didn't tell me what it was, I'd be curious to see how I would describe it. You know what I mean? And
that's
would
a great point. We should do that one time.
We each bring each other a stick that we've had. Not a flavor, not an infused. Just
it would have to be, and it couldn't be this. It couldn't be something as identifiable as this.
Right. It would just be interesting to see.
Even if it's not an episode, it would be a fun episode too.
It'd be fun to just do.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's what I mean. So like enjoyable. What did we say? We saw the price point somewhere between $14.95 and $16.95.
I saw $13.95, $14. I checked it on a couple sites. It was consistent. I actually didn't go to like Famous Smoke or anything though and see what they're actually selling it for. I only saw a couple sites, who had an MSRP.
Boxes of 10 between $139 to $159.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if you went in brick and mortar and saw for $20. Like
right.
Some brick and mortars, brick and mortars have to do a significant markup to make any cash. But let's do that, man. Let's go. Film some stuff at like a brick and mortar one time, or just go shopping, dude. I'm telling you, I want to record like your reaction when you walk in that one shop.
Let's do that.
It's like a pleasure.
I'm going to say it on film, so we say it when I'm off for that
Christmas,
winter break. Definitely do that.
You have at least 2 shops. I want to go with you to Berlin Mart too.
Mm-hmm.
We got to hit. So we got 3 shops to hit, and we've got some fun like kind of content to work on too. It'd be good.
Great,
it'll come out probably in 2021.
What a great kind of way to memorialize, like we talked about, Smoking Year of the Rat for episode 1, Velvet Rat for episode 11.
Totally,
just
kind
of
enjoyable.
Cool the way it's going.
Love doing this with you, man.
Absolutely.
We're gonna keep doing it, whether the world likes it or not.
Like we said, this is we're hoping that
I'm gonna have a lot to cut out of this episode.
Oh God, I can't.
9-hour episode.
I can't even imagine.
It'll be easy though because I'll be cutting out massive chunks.
Mm-hmm.
So, but thanks everybody, for sticking with us on this one. It's I don't know what it's gonna come out to once we're done editing it, but I know it's gonna be a longer episode. We had so much fun with this one.
It was
just really casual conversation. Hope everybody else enjoyed it too. Just kind of smoking with us, kick back, relax.
That's what it's all about.
Eric, Gary, and Cedar Culture, man. So. As always, long ashes.
Stay smoky.
Thanks for checking out the Cedar Culture Podcast. If you'd like that episode, go ahead, tap, like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is on your platform of choice. And if you are on YouTube, hit that bell as well to be notified of new episodes. It really helps us out. We appreciate it.
And then don't forget to head over to Instagram and Facebook and follow us as well.
Do it.
Do it.